Oh, okay. There we go. I think we're live now, guys. Do you guys all have it say live?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Leadership Council. My name is Vinny Aiello, and I'm happy that you guys are here. It's Sunday. More specifically, it is the Sunday before Internet Traffic Live 2, which is our event that's happening in a week. And all these people on the council are going to be there. I'm excited for it, to see you guys in person. And I'm excited if you're on this call, because if you haven't been on a Leadership Council meeting, this is just where MITS members get together, talk about their experiences, talk about what they use in MITS to help make their business better. It's just a great place to connect with people and really, give yourself that community aspect to your business, which I think is just super important. All these people on the council are more than just people I work with now. They are my friends. I talk to them all the time, and we have a good, close relationship. So I want to introduce everyone on the council. Then we're going to jump right into it because we do have two special guests today. We have Aron Parker and Laurie Conrod. So I'll first introduce the council, and then we'll get into our guests. So I'll just go to my left. I don't know how it is for your guys on your screen and if you're watching, but to my left I have Shelly Belcourt. How you doing today, Shelly?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. How are you guys?
We're doing well. Shelly how long have you been with Vince, would you say? How long have you been following his teachings and knowing Vince?
2 years, maybe more. Yeah.
2 years, yeah, because I remember even when I first started working with Vince, like more full time, like a lot of these people on the council were some of the first people I had the luxury to meet. So Shelly's been on the council. Tell them a little about what you do, Shelly, just with your business, like what you focus on, kind of.
Yeah, so I've been working. Well, when I met Vince, we met at an event actually with a direct sales company that I'm in. Actually, so is Vince, and he started talking about how to find your own leads, and at that point I was just like, wow. And so literally at this event I started hanging around him like a bad smell, and I don't think I've ever stopped really. the more I spend time with him, the more I feel like my business improves, really, honestly.
Awesome, Shelly. Well, thank you for that, and we're happy to have you here on the council. Next to you we got Scott Ewert. What's up, Scott? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Thanks. How about you?
Awesome. Now, for those of you that don't know Scott, I would say 4 days ago, Scott couldn't even talk. He's been deathly sick. It sounded like, but it sounds like his voice is coming back around a little bit. You feeling better this weekend?
It is.
Okay, awesome.
It is coming back a little bit, and I'm doing better. So thanks.
Cool. Yeah, and Scott has some awesome input. And if you're going to be at the event, he's going to share what he does with his business. But he's an amazing niche marketer and has done some great things with our training. So, Scott, thank you for being here, man. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Martin, what's going on, man? Martin, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? I was unmuted.
Yeah, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm doing great. I'm blessed. I just feel super excited to come together again another month and another workshop with the Leadership Council. So pumped up for Internet Traffic Live 2 next week, and I'm excited to have everyone that's actually watching live. I mean, we actually have it looks like 30 people live that are actually on the call right now. So just want to give a quick shout out to everyone. Let you guys know that we are having questions. So if you have questions for the Leadership Council and our guest, Aron, or anyone else, make sure you go ahead and ask away. We're here to help you guys.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for that, Martin. And yeah, he brought up a good point. If you have any questions, it's in our private Facebook group. It's the top post on the page. If you're not in our group, pretty easy. Just facebook.com/groups/myinternettrafficsystem. And I'll let you in. I'll pay attention to the notifications right now so you can get in and ask some questions.
We also have the Google Plus page, just so you know.
That too as well. Yeah, absolutely. Now, next is Eric Scott. Eric, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? I'm just happy to have my tech working today.
We are too, man. You have no idea. We are too. But it's good to hear you crystal clear. Good to have you on the council, man. And go ahead and introduce yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely, like everybody else, want to welcome everybody for joining us today. It's always great hanging out and doing these things and talking about different members in our group. We're gonna have some more fun with Aron and Laurie today, and I got to correct my man Martin. It's actually not next week. It's 3 or 4 days we're going to be hanging out with each other this week into next week. So Martin, of course you're right, man. I'm just giving you a hard time for that. Oh yeah, happy again to be here, man. Loving it. Looking forward to not just this time right now, but seeing everybody here in a few days.
Awesome, man. Thank you for that, Eric. And he's right. Yeah, Thursday night, the event begins. So it is less, a couple days away. So now we have our first guest I want to introduce, Laurie. Welcome to the Leadership Council. Thank you for taking your time on a Sunday to be on here. We're really excited to talk to you about your business. And, just from my background in MITS, being a coach and talking to you, you came into the system, you've taken action, so I'm really excited to kind of really, point that out today and just talk about your business. So go ahead and introduce yourself if you have anything to say.
Thanks, Vinny. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy to be in MITS, in the community, learning everything. Vince and you guys have created an amazing tool for people, and I'm really happy to be part of it. And it's only been a few months, and it's made a big change in my business. So I am really happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
That's great. That's great. And we're excited to have you, and I can't wait to talk to you about that stuff. Now, next, we have Aron Parker, and he's actually going to go first. We're going to talk to him a little bit about his business. But Aron, my man, what's going on?
What's up, Vinny? How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Outstanding. It's an honor to be here. Very grateful, very excited.
Cool, man. Now, for those of you that don't know Aron, he's an awesome marketer. He's an awesome networker. I know him and Vince have known each other for quite some time, and I'm just really excited to kind of get into your story, hear about your business, kind of where you started, how you got here, what you're doing now, and I'm sure the council will all have some things to kind of ask you about and comment on. So take it away, man. How did you get involved? How are we talking right here, right now? Talk to me from the beginning. How are we sitting here talking on a leadership council right now?
Well, we're here for probably a lot of different reasons. I did meet Vince Reed. I think it was actually about 3 years ago when I first met him in person at an event in Vegas, and I was personally just blown away at not just the results that he had, but really just how friendly he was. He wasn't like one of these guys making tons of money that wouldn't actually talk to you, and he was very friendly, very open, and so that was awesome to have that and to experience that. First impressions with Vince Reed was absolutely great. So over the last couple years since that first time we met, I've paid very close attention to Vince and what he was doing. We became a little bit closer to friends and stayed connected through the internet and stuff. And then when he first spoke to me about MITS, I was immediately intrigued, very interested, and I actually got started with MITS from the beginning. I don't remember exactly. I think it was about a year ago, probably over a year. And I mean, it's just unbelievable to see what has happened to MITS over the last year plus. The community, the growth, the success stories, the amount of training that Vince Reed has put out there for the world is just unbelievable. I don't know of any person or system out there that does what MITS does, so it's phenomenal. I know we'll probably talk more about that. But as far as why I'm here and really what my story looks like, I'll try to give you kind of a quick version, but I started in the home business industry when I was 18 years old, right out of high school. Actually went off to the Marines, was out in Camp Pendleton, California, did 4 years in the military, and while I was in the military, I was introduced to network marketing. Absolutely loved it, loved the idea of entrepreneurship and, working from home, not having to have a boss and all that stuff, and I spent an entire decade going from network marketing company to another to another to another. I was your typical network marketer that just didn't have any success. I literally just I thought I was doing everything right, and I saw people having so much success, and I was like, man, if they can do it, I can do it, and it just didn't happen for me. So I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but that was me for over 10 years, making very little to nothing in every company I went to. And it wasn't until about 3 years ago when things finally started to shift for me, when I started to learn what MITS teaches, which is internet marketing, and learning how to build your list, learning some attraction marketing, learning exactly what Vince Reed teaches with MITS. And I know, again, we'll talk more about that and what I love most about MITS, but I found myself 3 years ago, I was working, and over, just to kind of back up quickly, I I did get married 8 years ago. I have two little beautiful girls. They're now 5 and 6 years old. And so I found myself 3 years ago, this is back around the time that I met Vince, at an event. And at that time, I was working 2 jobs. Was living in Indiana, where my wife is from. It's freezing up there. I'm from South Florida, where we live now. And we were broke. You know, the first 5 years of our marriage was a financial struggle, from traveling around the country for work to you know, even being on WIC, you know, the program to help feed your kids. Like, it wasn't good, you know, repoed cars and just all kinds of crazy stuff. That's where we were. It was 5 years of a lot of financial struggle. So 3 years ago, we started to see some success in network marketing, but it was because of adding something that we didn't have before, and that was attraction marketing. It was building a list. It was being able to talk to more people than just your friends and family. You know, typically in network marketing, it's talk to your friends and family. It's, you know, the 3-foot rule, just talk to everyone, right? And for me, that really didn't create much success. You know, I could sign up a few people here and there, and then it was just a struggle. And so once we added this little thing called the internet, and adding the ability to get our message and to get our opportunity in front of literally an unlimited number of people, it changed things very quickly. And I mean, obviously there's a lot of components and a lot of things that we've done, but over the last 3 years, we've been able to, you know, I 3 years ago quit my jobs and started working full-time from home, and have done 6 figures per year for the last 3 years in a row. So it's been that dream income, you know, finally happened for us. I think we're the epitome of never quit, right? We had the idea that one day I could make, you know, 5 figures per month, and after over 10 years of trying to do that but failing, most of my friends and most of the people who I had worked with in network marketing, they all quit along the way, and they're like, screw that network marketing stuff, that doesn't work, it's not going to work for me. And, you know, I just, for some reason, I was like, no, there's no way. There's something that I'm not doing. There's something I need to learn. And eventually, I figured that out. And over the last 3 years, we've been able to do fairly well. And we're just more excited now than ever. So that's kind of my story. I can talk more about MITS, which I'd love to do. But Vince, I'll turn it back to you.
Yeah, I mean, Aron, I think in a nutshell, that was awesome, man. I mean, you've said so many things there that are so valuable. I mean, honestly, you know, never quit, man. I mean, I think that you're the epitome of that example, and congratulations. But one of the things that you just said to me, which I thought was really, really cool, and it's kind of perfect considering Internet Traffic Live is next week. You met Vince at an event. Shelly, you said you met Vince at an event, I believe. Who else on this council, their first time, really connected with Vince at an event? Who else? Eric,
Yeah.
Laurie, Martin.
I met him at an event.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5, 6 people out of this council that met with Vince at an event. What about you, Scott?
I met him through a friend who met him at an event.
So we might as well count that too, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I think that that's an important thing to say, you know, because Aron, when you're going through that struggle that you kind of mentioned earlier, you know, you're doing things, you're not seeing the success. You know that when you first got started, you saw success, you saw people doing the right thing. You know, a lot of times I think when you can get to an event and really be face-to-face with people that are going through the same thing as you, the same struggle, I think that can really change your mindset on success in this industry. I mean, do you guys want to touch on that at all? I mean, just from your guys' experience of going to events and connecting with people there. I mean, feel free to take it away.
Yeah, I mean, for me, events changed everything. You know, I had been to events during the 10 years of struggle, but it's like if you know for a fact that an event can change your life, then how can you not go to the event? Now, I know that we're getting like, you know, the event for MITS, Internet Traffic Live, is right around the corner. We're literally just a few days away, it seems like, before we're going to all be meeting in San Diego. But I will say, for anyone who's here watching this live, if there's any possible way you can get there, this is one of those life-changing, life-altering events that could absolutely change the course of your life. You're going to be, you know, it's not just what you learn. The information that you learn, you could learn from a webinar. Now, I think there will be some pretty top-secret stuff that will be shared at the event as far as information. But for me, the most valuable part of an event is the people that you meet, like meeting Vince Reed for the first time. It's getting to actually see these people and, you know, shake hands, ask questions. It makes everything so much more real. You know, we're here on this Hangout. People are watching this live. People are going to watch the recording. This is awesome. But being in an event in person, live, getting to see people, like, yes, this is for real. It emotionally and just mentally, it changes everything, because you start to see the success that people are having working with MITS, working with Vince Reed, and that light bulb can go off for you just like that. And it's like, wow, look at what people are doing. If they can do it, I can do it. And those were some of those light bulbs that happened for me. So the experience, the people that you meet, it absolutely can change your life. So if there's any way you can get to Internet Traffic Live 2, I was at the first one last year. It was phenomenal. I heard this year is going to be 10 times better. So I'm just jacked out of my mind. I can't wait to see all of you guys in San Diego.
Yeah, I can also attest to that. And I think, I mean, even if you can't get to this event, there's going to be another one. So, you know, make a commitment. You know, I mean, my first event for me, it takes me, you know, a day of traveling to get up, and I do it because I know it's going to be worth it, right? You know, I have to sit on a plane for 12 hours. Absolutely, I wouldn't change it. What I think, for me, the big thing about getting to events, and this is kind of what changed in my head, is that you realize that internet marketing is not just about sitting behind a computer. And this is what I think connected with Vince's training and myself, is that, you know, you get a lead or an opt-in, and it's like, that is a real person. And when you go to an event, you realize this is a real thing. You know, other people are doing real businesses, or earning real money. It's not just something that you can sit at home and hide out with, and neither should that be. You know, I mean, I guess some people do it that way, but if you're in a networking business, it's about networking, and we're dealing with people. And yeah, that was one of the big things that kind of stood out for me with attending events, is that you do realize this is a people game.
You know, and I'll add a little different spin on it. Shelly and I became friends through MITS online. And later, we learned we had been at the same event and didn't meet at that event. But it bonded us because we had been at that event together, and we were able to come back later and talk about it and have a synergy between you. So even though you might be at an event with a bunch of people and you don't get to meet people, the connection might even happen later. So the value can come there. It can come after. It can come at the next event when you've built that relationship again, and you have a closer bond with people. So it's really incredible.
Scott, I'm loving the emotion, Scott.
Awesome. Well,
I'll jump in. I love it. I'll jump in real quick. For me, I mean, just a different spin. Events. I mean, that's, if I've been consistent at anything, like just being authentic and transparent with you guys here, like going to live events has just been one thing that I've never like left in my business plan. Every year in December, like I always try to look for the live events where I can actually go and meet and get away from my computer and actually shake somebody's hand. So if you're on the fence of going to Internet Traffic Live, like I gotta tell you, I mean, do anything that you can possibly do to get there. Like, I mean, I remember my first event, I actually seen Aron's Cup, the Unstoppable Entrepreneur event. I actually didn't have a room. Like, I got there, and from there, like, I just let the universe take over, and I was able to meet people. I was able to connect with them, share a room. Like, if you have to share a room. Like, just get there, because your life will change. I mean, especially what we're gonna, the people that are bringing on stage, and people that are speaking and sharing their advice. I mean, it's really worth getting to that live event. So that's what I'll throw in my 2 cents on that, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about a little bit later, even more. So I'll give it up to Vinny or anybody else.
Hey, Vinny, real quick, let me jump in here and touch on something too, because my very first event, I think it was 2011 or 2012, I can't remember the year. I met Martin, I met Scott, I met Shelly, all at that event. And, obviously, 2015, what, 3-4 years later, we're still, you know, friends. We've become very good friends, and obviously we're here on this hangout. But another cool thing that happened for me at that first event for me was I also met Aron at that event as well. And I don't know if he remembers this, but it was kind of funny. I had no clue. I was new to online. I had no clue who he was. But about maybe 2 to 3 days before that event, this dude pops up on my internet, and he's screaming. I don't know if you remember this, Aron, but he's screaming at the screen. And I'm like, who the heck is this guy? And it was just the loudest video I ever heard. So I'm at this event. I'm in the hallway. And this guy walks up. I'm like, dude, I know who you are. I was like, you were screaming on this video, and that was my first experience actually meeting Aron. And it's every time I see you, man, it's good to hear your story. But it's funny for me because it's kind of nostalgic, you know, being my first event. And it sounds to me like that's kind of when you were starting to take off as well. So it's pretty cool thing. Maybe tying that all together, you know, the value of going live, man, and meeting people. You know, in a real setting, like Shelly touched on, it makes it real. And that's actually what happened for me. I followed Vince for a little while, around 2011, I think is when I first heard about him. And I, you know, kind of jumped in every webinar I could. But he challenged me personally and said, you know, if you really want to make this thing real, attend a live event. And that's the one. I'm not going to mention which one it was, but I went to that event. I met him and then met everyone there. And Vinny down the road got to hang out with Vinny, what was it, last summer or 2 summers ago or something like that. And dude's awesome. So out in Florida, and I don't know, we've been a couple places, but but that speaks to the value, you know, that Vinny brought up early on. You got to take advantage of it because it's very real. You know, people are very real. You get to see their stories wherever they're at. You know, if they're starting brand new like I was at the time, or about to launch like Aron, you know, did at the time, or, you know, all the things that can happen from that standpoint. I think it's cool. And Vinny, I don't want to steal your thunder, but I think it's cool for me to hear, Aron, kind of where you went from that point. I know you kind of started doing well, but I'd love to hear how MITS kind of took off for you and helped you in that process. But I'll pass it back to Vinny first to see if that's where we need to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That was kind of going to be my next question. And I just wanted to point out too, you know, we're all entrepreneurs. You know, we're choosing this lifestyle, you know, and you got to take it seriously, you know. I mean, and going to an event is really just investing into yourself. You know, you're meeting people that are doing the same thing as you. You know, if you want to make, you know, the kind of money for this to be full-time and, you know, be the top earner walking across the stage, you have to put in the time and the dedication and, you know, put yourself out there. And yes, Eric, you're right. I met you 2 years ago in Florida. I had no idea who you were. Me and you hung out. We were with Vince, talked a little bit about your business, what you wanted to do. And 2 years from now, we're on the Leadership Council together, you know, full-fledged into this. So, you know, it's more about just you looking at this as a full-time business. You are an entrepreneur. You know, if you want to make this happen, you know, you got to invest in yourself. And I think we can leave it at that with the events. But yes, Eric, with what you said for Aron, you know, Aron, you came into MITS, and just to make it clear for everybody on this call, MITS is not an opportunity. We're an affiliate company. We're a training company. Okay, so we have a couple different levels inside of our system where we can teach you to generate leads for your primary company, and then you can also leverage our system and earn commissions. Now, there's a lot to that. But I'll kind of start with you, Aron. What facets of MITS, since you kind of really started, you know, being involved with our company, have you really focused on that you've seen major changes in your own business?
Yeah, so for me, I think the biggest value that I've received from MITS, and I think anyone can get from MITS, is the training, because it's very unique what you get with MITS. What MITS provides, obviously, when I say MITS, it's like MITS, Vince Reed, it's one and the same. You know, Vince Reed is obviously the mastermind of MITS, and what Vince Reed does, that is unlike anything I've seen anyone do, is he's in the trenches. Like, he loves the internet marketing, you know, just list building, finding ways to generate more leads, to get more people to look at whatever it is that you're offering. It could be selling an affiliate product, could be, you know, a home-based business, network marketing, whatever it is. Vince Reed is teaching us exactly how to do that. And what makes him so unique is two things. One, he does it. Like, he's not teaching us stuff that was like 6 months ago or a year ago. he's actively in the trenches, actively doing all of this and bettering himself to always constantly have the latest and greatest strategies, marketing strategies, advertising strategies that you can find anywhere online. And then he teaches us. It's phenomenal. So that was a huge one for me. And then you add in, this is even more priceless, is the ability for us to literally get coaching virtually one-on-one from Vince Reed when he does live hangouts like this, live webinars where he actually, like I was sitting just a few weeks ago watching one of Vince Reed's webinars, and my wife was listening, and she's like, is he really like walking people through their ads and like critiquing them and showing them like what to do better, and well, don't do it this way, do it this way. I was like, yeah, he's really doing that. And my wife was just like, holy cow, that's crazy. Like, nobody does that. And so to have someone like Vince Reed, you know, made millions, he's making millions of dollars. He's just phenomenal marketer, one of the best of the best. For him to be there hands-on, teaching you, training you, helping you, coaching you as a member of MITS, it's unbelievable. So for me, that was just a no-brainer. Not just for me to get involved with MITS to utilize the training for me to get better, which it's definitely helped me, but also recommending it. You know, I mean, for me, anyone who's looking for more training on how to, you know, use social media, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or any of the different social media platforms, to generate more leads for your business, MITS is the platform that will teach you how to do that. And as the technologies and as the information and strategies change, we know that Vince Reed is going to provide for us as members of MITS all that latest and greatest, you know, up-to-the-date training on how to do that. So this is the place to be. It's definitely made an impact on my business, and I'm just excited to be here to continue to learn so that I can continue to get better as well.
That's awesome, Aron. And I want to touch on a couple things there that you said, because I am in a unique position where I'm in the office every day with Vince, literally every day. I mean, it's Sunday, and I'm in the office with him. So he is in the trenches, and I think that is what's unique about MITS is literally all of the trainings that we teach you in our back office. They're all step-by-step, are the same exact ways that we market our own business. And I think that that's very, very powerful, because we're consistently trying to find new ways to keep you guys up to date, but more importantly, we're doing them. You know, a lot of times when it comes to coaching calls for my internet traffic system, you get a coaching call at every level on top of the training with Vince weekly that Aron was talking about. A lot of the times on those calls, especially the first level call, people will be like, oh, how'd you hear about MITS? Like, oh, it was an ad on Facebook. And it's sometimes you have to put that correlation that, hey, that ad that you saw on Facebook is what we train you to do for your business. The same way you got into our system is the same way that you're going to be able to get people into your business. And I think that just sometimes just puts a light bulb off in people's head. Now, I know Laurie's taken a lot of advantages of the Thursday night practice calls, so I know that she'll touch on those. I know Laurie's gotten her ad critiqued a couple times for Vince, so I don't want to say too much about that because I know that she'll probably talk about it. But another thing you said, Aron, is I know from your experience in this industry, and I think some other people on the council can agree with me here, you've built companies, you've had a downline, right? Now, a lot of the success in network marketing comes from duplication, right? You know, getting your downline to, you know, do a revenue generating activity that's going to show them success. You know, I mean, that's how you can really make yourself different from all the other distributors out there that are selling the same things as you. And I think you said something really important there, that, you know, you leverage the MITS system, so when someone does join your business, Aron, they can have a six-figure earner and someone like Vince every single week to look at it. So how has that impacted your business, like being able just to leverage that? You know, I'm sure it gives you time to focus on the things that you're good at. You know, it makes it to where you don't have to be Vince Reed, guys. You don't have to be the guy in the trenches to make lead generation work. You just got to put yourself in a position to allow your team to do the same. I mean, do you want to touch on that, Aron, at all?
Yeah, I mean, just quickly, I'll say that, you know, what Vince does, just basically what you said, Vince Reed allows for us not to have to be as good as Vince Reed. You know, I'm like, his brain is like on a whole nother level. I mean, we could just be honest that some people some people have the brain power to like do stuff online, and you're just like, what? Like, how? Like, is he a ninja? Like, has he got a computer up there? And so you know, that's just the reality. Some people get this, the technology, the data that is required to be like a superhuman internet marketer. That's Vince Reed. And so like what Vince Reed does in like 1 hour would take me 10, right? So he does it in 1, it would take me 10. So instead of me having to take 10 hours to go learn that, I let him do it. So Vince Reed learns it. He could teach me. I saved a lot of time. It's a win-win. And then to say, you know, to add on to that, Vinny, imagine me now having to go teach my team all that. Why? Like, why would I take the hours upon hours upon hours to try to teach all of that when we have the superhuman brain who can teach it probably better than I can, and he's done all the work? So I just say, hey guys, if you want to learn the best of the best, you need this. And so it frees up tons of my time. And then now if people want to learn what we're doing and how we're getting leads and how we're growing our business online, they can just plug into MITS. And it's such a win for everyone. So it works.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Anybody else want to touch on anything before we move on over to Laurie?
We do have a question from Matthew in the group for Aron, which is, what is your favorite advertising platform, Aron?
So for me, it's Facebook. The only platform I use to advertise, especially for like paid advertising, is Facebook. I do use YouTube, but I would say 80 to 90% of what I do is all on Facebook.
That's awesome, man. And I noticed, Shelly, he also asked, with the fan page, you know, do you just do right column ads? And you can answer this, Aron. I'm just going to give my 2 cents real quick. When it comes to mobile, newsfeed, right column, you know, all the different types of ad placements, depending on what you're saying and what you're doing, there isn't a right answer to that. That is something that, you know, we believe you need to split test. You know, if you're running an ad on the right, you know, the right column versus a newsfeed ad, you know, run a couple images, you know, change it up, and really just the power of pay-per-click marketing, guys, is that you have full control of your budget. You can do something and see a result and literally see if something works. So when it comes to those kind of questions where it's like, okay, you know, I have this ad and this ad and this ad, test it. You know, use a smaller budget and test it. I mean, have you had any experience with that, Aron, when it comes to your like campaigns?
Yeah, I mean, for me, with Facebook ads, just on that specific question, the answer is that it's going to take a little bit of extra work. That's the answer. And that is what you just said. You've got to split test, because there's no right answer to this, because you could run one ad and you could do one ad for newsfeed, the same exact ad for mobile, and the same exact ad for right column, and one of those could be far greater than the other two. So focus there. But then you could run a completely different ad, and then the one that outperforms, whereas maybe the first ad it was the right column, but then the second ad it's mobile, or maybe the third ad it's newsfeed. So it's going to require the work that you have to put in, you know, learning how to do all of that with MITS, and then just testing, split testing, run different ads on all three individually and see what results you get, and then wherever you get the best result, focus on that.
Yeah, and I 100% agree, Aron, and that's also something, guys, that you don't have to do on your own. You know, when you're in the MITS system, you get Vince Reed as a coach twice a week, you know. That's something that you can show him, be like, look, you know, do I run this in the right column? He'll give you his advice. He'll critique it. You know, he'll tell you and teach and show you how to split test it. I don't want you guys to think if you're on this call and you're not in the system, these are all things that we help you with. You know, that when you have these kind of questions and you're doing these types of advertising, we're a community that you can turn to for these types of questions. I mean, does anybody else want to touch anything on that? Anybody else?
Also, that did sound, you know, if you're not in this Facebook marketing game, that could have sounded a little bit intimidating, but that's all, like, that training is all there. So, you know, if that did just sound a little bit confusing, then, you know, don't worry, it does become clear, and that's what we've got to do. You know, as marketers, we do need to learn these things. That's just a fact.
Yeah, Vinny, I think you know, Aron's been hammering the point home very well today. Is the accessibility to Vince. I mean, he's a master marketer, and we, you know, as MITS members, we have access to him at a minimum twice a week. You know, we can call in, ask them questions. We can get on a webinar like Laurie takes advantage of, and actually present our business, something I need to do a lot more than I have been doing. But that's the key point is all the training that's in there, you know, as already been mentioned, it's top notch, you know, and it's always updated and different things like that. That's great. But the biggest point I think that we could maybe want to recognize right now is we have direct access to a master marketer in Vince, where we can say, hey, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm thinking about doing, and I'm going to give it to you, and you tell me, you know, where I need to tweak it, and then I can go make those adjustments, come back, and keep making it better. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that we have, as members, direct access to somebody, you know, at the top of their game, you know, and we all get to benefit from that. So it'd be great to hear Laurie share some of her experience, you know, with that.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Laurie, what's up? What's going on? I think you're still muted there.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. So I know you haven't said much yet, but let's hear your story. Tell us just a little bit about your background, how you came across Vince and MITS, and then just kind of let it flow from there.
Okay. Well, I have two kind of two little things. One thing, I'm really jealous of you, Aron, because you discovered network marketing when you were 18. And I won't tell you how old I was, but it was only like 4.5 years ago. So if I had discovered a home-based business and network marketing when I was your age, things would be so different now. So that's kind of something that's really special to me too, because being a baby boomer, I really want to get the word out about this kind of entrepreneurship that I never knew about. But secondly, I was also at Unstoppable, and I have that same mug. So that's a good example of, yep, I've got it, it's in my cupboard, I use it all the time. And that was one of my first events. That's actually really launched my internet marketing career, because I discovered network marketing in 2010, did it for a couple of years, and then realized that talking belly to belly and everybody within 3 feet of me was not really what I wanted to do. And so when I went to Unstoppable, I realized that, you know, I could really reach way more people online. And so that's how I started in online marketing. And so to get to how important events are, that event changed everything for me, because I joined Jonathan Budd and Mark Hoverson's mastermind. And so I got to get in their realm, like right at the beginning, right away. And it's so important, just like getting in Vince Reed's realm. Like when you get around people that really know what they're doing, you can like reduce your learning curve so much. And that's what I wanted to do, and that's kind of what I did. But why I joined MITS, well, here's my story about how I met Vince. This is really, I love this. I met him at an event, and I think it was 2013, and another reason why it's so important to go to events, I got there the afternoon before the event started, and so of course you go to the bar, because that's where everybody's going to be. If anybody's there early, they're going to be in the bar, whatever. There was no one in the bar except Vince. And
don't give away all the secrets, Laurie. Don't give all the secrets away at the events, how everybody meets at the bar. Don't tell everybody that.
That's where we're meeting.
Yeah.
And so
that's where I met you too, Laurie.
Yeah, that's where I met you too, Scott. And
That's right.
So he's sitting at the bar, and I walk up to, because it's lunchtime for me, because it's 3 hours behind, and it was in Dallas, I think. And so I go up to the bar, and we, you know, say hello to each other, and I kind of knew who he was. I must have known who he was. But we both realized we were both there for the same event. So we introduced each other, and we sat and we had lunch. And he showed me all this cool stuff on his phone, how he had his Vince Reed app, and his app was on his phone, and you know, and he offered to give me some software, you know, because he knew I was working with Jonathan, and he's like, oh, just call my office and I'll give it to you. And I mean, that's how Vince is, you know. So it was amazing. It was great meeting him. And then of course I just went off into, after that event, you know, we all got busy with stuff, and I didn't really have Vince come back into my vicinity realm of life until I kind of sort of knew he was doing this thing called MITS, but I didn't really know what it was. And then I did, find out what it was. And when I got, saw the webinar and everything, it was a total no-brainer because we have all these trainings, Twitter, Facebook, Bing, recruiting for your primary business, all these things that we need as marketers. Everything is there. Everything is up to date. And getting one-on-one coaching with him twice a week is priceless because you can buy trainings from here to the end of your life, but you will not have one-on-one coaching to, answer questions of the person that created that training, unless that's some kind of unique training. But even when people do that, they'll do it for a limited time, and then it's over. So MITS allows me to not only learn what I need to learn, but so that I can also teach it to my team and, give them the opportunity to come in and learn all these amazing trainings too. So those are my two little stories.
Nice. Well, I have a question for you, Laurie, because I know that you've taken advantage a lot of the VIP coaching calls and webinars with Vince where he critiques your stuff. And when I talk to people about it, I usually like to give examples of like members that have gone on to the practice call, made some adjustments that Vince, asked them to do and critiqued them on, and then, talk about the results that they got. So I don't want to put you on the spot by any means, but is there anything just off the top of your head that you've experienced through that coaching that you've then implemented and seen the result that you wanted to see?
Yes, I mean he's given me specific, change this wording, change that wording, and it makes a difference, it makes a difference. And I'm focusing on Bing right now, so those were the ads he was actually looking at. And when you're learning a new marketing method, there's nothing better than to have that one-on-one, eyesight of somebody like him who knows exactly what's going to help and what's going to work. And yes, his advice has made a difference for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. And for those of you, that have been around Vince and I a lot, we often refer to sports. We were both athletes. A lot of people in our office are athletes. And I think personally, one of the coolest things about what we call practice, where you get your ads critiqued, is if you were ever in sports, your coach would always tell you when you're on the sidelines, watch your position. After the game, watch the film of when you played to get better. So what I've realized is a lot of members, whether they're the ones getting their ad critiqued or not, the amount of value that you just pick up from just simply watching, you're like, wow, because we teach so many different ways. You can just be sitting there like, I didn't even know that existed on the internet. I got to try that for my business now, So I think that there's a lot of value, too, in just being able to have something consistent that's going to keep you working your business, a place to go where you can, get professional, criticism, so to speak, and really build on that. So, Laurie, when you first came into MITS, though, was it like a no-brainer for you, like 1, 2, 3, I'm all the way up, or was it like you got to 2, you tried it, then you moved to 3? Like, what was your process of like positioning yourself as a entrepreneur in the MITS system? How did that work out for you?
My process was, I think it was, there was a webinar introducing what MITS was and what the levels were. So I did level 1 immediately. And then what I wanted to do was go through level 1 so that I could see, if I liked what I had just bought. And I did. And so then we had our coaching, we had the level 1 coaching call, you and I did. And then it was just a matter of, okay, am I ready to invest the $195 a month for all of those trainings? I want to see how it fits into everything. And it was a very short time before I said yes, because I also evaluated level 3. What am I going to get like for level 3? And I went level 2, level 3 right away because I saw the value right away. It was a no-brainer for me. And for some people, it sounds like it's it's a lot of money to invest per month. However, the trainings are they're so good and they're so valuable that, you know, I mean, I can just tell you from my opinion that the value is there. There's no question. But going level 3, I actually wanted to be able to monetize level 2. So that's why I went level 3, because I was like, if I'm going to use this stuff and I know I'm getting value out of it, of course I'm going to share it with people. I'm going to share it with my team. I'm going to share it with other people. And every single network marketer on the planet can use these trainings, and most of them don't know that they should be building a list and that, you know, this is what we do. And the other reason was because I learned early on in internet marketing that pay-per-click is the fastest way to build your list. You know, you can do all kinds of free stuff, and that's all great, but if you really want to make progress in a short amount of time, pay-per-click is the way to do it. And that's what Vince does. That's what he teaches us, is all different pay-per-click strategies. And I like fast, so that's...
Yeah, absolutely, Laurie. You know, and you said something there that kind of stood out to me, you know, is like kind of the price point, the 197. You know, that is expensive to some people. But at the end of the day, you know, if 197 is a stretch for you, and it very well could be, you know, a lot of times with online marketing, you can't look at today. You got to look at the actions you take today and what they're going to bring you tomorrow. You know, it's very heavy on your return on your investment. And, you know, if you're not doing any type of online marketing, you know, and you're eager to learn, and, you know, something like 197 is, you know, giving you that feeling of, you know, fearfulness in a way, you know, just look at it this way. Think about how many people that you talk to and you connect with each and every day with your business, right? Using these strategies, you're going to be able to put yourself in front of 10 to 20 to 100 to 1,000 to 100,000 people that know what your company is. So investing 197, if you can get that in front of 10,000 people a day, right, the numbers are going to play for you. You know, now 197 doesn't mean anything to 10K a month. You know, so it has to do with the you know, kind of the fear of that return on your investment. And, you know, that's what we're here to show you guys, that it works. You know, that's what this council is here to show you guys, that, you know, this stuff can make you successful. I mean, does anybody in the council have anything they want to touch on? I think that what you said was awesome, Laurie.
I'd like to say something. So I spent some time with personal one-on-one coaching with Vince, 2 days, and we sat down and laid out a strategy for me on how I was going to do something on Facebook. And got up the next day, met with him, and he had been up since 3 in the morning tweaking his Facebook app. And he got up, he said, what we went over yesterday, we're going to change. Because I found out yesterday that this completely changed, and we need to do yours differently now. And it saved me time, money. It got me more leads, my likes for less money. Just that simple tweak that he learned overnight. So what everybody's been saying here, if you're listening and you've got to get the value, I mean, $197 a month or whatever you pay, it's completely worth it for something like that. You can buy more expensive training that people don't update and don't bring you up on current strategies and don't coach you when things change or look at you specifically. And that's what you need to realize is so unique and so different about MITS and the MITS community. So I just wanted to add that in.
Hey, Scott, do you mind if I share some of your numbers since you spoke with Vince that day, just to kind of show people that this stuff works? Do you mind if I share them? Okay.
No, you go for it.
So, Scott, if you guys are going to be at Internet Traffic Live, you know, the Leadership Council is going to share, you know, some of the things that they've, you know, taken from MITS and things that they've executed that has helped their business. So Scott, as he said, met with Vince, had a one-on-one, and formed a plan. And these are the results that Scott has gotten from his plan. Now, Scott is a niche marketer, so he has a niche site, and he has a couple fan pages to his niche. And he's grown his site and fan page to over 12,000 fans, 500 email subscribers, 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and 60,000 YouTube views since December using a $15 per day budget. Okay? Now, I wanted to share that, okay, because one, you know, it's very possible. You know, Scott's been very focused, concentrated, executed his plan, and marketing is about consistency, guys. Vince calls it a race, but it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You know, Scott spent $15 every day. He committed to that. and he took that money and he made it work for him. And those are the kind of results that you can get when you're consistent. So marketing isn't about, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and, doing this and seeing if it works. It's about being consistent and really just building a business and really thinking long term. Do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want this to be your full-time job? Be consistent. And Scott, I think that what you've been doing is awesome, and I can't wait for Internet Traffic Live when you get to express more and, maybe even show us some of the stuff that you've been doing, man. It's been awesome, dude. So thank you.
Yeah, and you're welcome. And I'll just add, when I told Vince that, he's like, "That's awesome, Scott, but here's what you do to take it to the next level." Right? He was like just right in there and like, "Let's go, let's go next level, Scott. Increase your budget, do this, let's go." So, that kind of encouragement that you get from, it's just incredible. The whole community. But anyway.
That's awesome, Scott. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything they want to touch on? Because I know we have some questions to answer here.
No,
Anybody?
I think everybody's done a great job of touching on that. We have to, wherever you're at, whatever your business is, from a skill set standpoint, there's nothing out there better. And there's not going to be anything out there, in my opinion, because, Vince has said it many times, but I know that, more than saying it, he's committed to living it out every day, that he is going to grind, and he's going to outgrind everybody else, and he's always going to keep things current. Like, man, what a great story Scott just shared, is he's there, he goes to bed at night, Vince stays up, and he wakes up and there's a new strategy already. That's ridiculous. Who does that? And it's funny. I probably spend too much time doing this, but I like listening to a lot of other trainings as well. I don't sign up for them, but I like listening to different webinars and things like that. And somebody just the other day shared a training, and they had a question come in of how current it was. Well, we are current, and we have different types of strategies. There's one that we haven't changed as much. And I'm just hearing, and it's not a bash thing, it's just a reality thing. It's like, that's not Vince. He's always going to keep things current. That's just, so it was just great to hear a reference of a real world example, in our industry, that it's not, Vinny talked about it, it's not as much of a commitment across the board for everybody to keep those things current. And Scott, what a great example of how things can change quickly. So I think that's the biggest thing. From a skill set standpoint, there's nothing out there better. And what's cool, I'll add more to that, is I'll just go back to the beginning for me, which was 2011, when I met a lot of you guys here. I don't know where Vince was at in his business growth at the time, but he was huge to me. He could have been doing whatever he was doing, but he was huge. And I just want to talk about on the growth that I've seen as a follower in 4 years. To today. Let's talk this week. This week, every top leader that I knew about at that time is coming to this event to be a guest speaker at Vince's event. So in 4 years, we have the top people that I've known in the market coming to be speakers at Vince's event. And at that time, Vince couldn't buy his way in to be a speaker. Now he's got all the speakers coming to his event. So that's just another example of the commitment level that is in this system, that's in this community from the top down, and to the point that now we have the best of the best leaders across the board coming because they are friends with Vince, but also they know the value that he brings to the table, and it's why they want to commit their time to come and share with us as a community. So I don't know, we have a lot of great people in our industry, which is, I think we're all privileged to be a part of, but what a greater privilege to be a part of this community, where we have that kind of level of, I think of the Batter Mastermind. We have the leaders of leaders, the leaders of other communities coming, and they asking Vince, hey, how do I do this? How do I teach my community? And that's just, top-notch stuff. So.
Awesome, man. Awesome, Eric. So I want to just get some questions out of the way right now. I was looking in the group, and I just saw one that just came in, and it was Chris. And they asked, anyone have any idea of how to get an ad account reinstated? That's something that we're asked a lot over here in MITS, and honestly, there isn't an answer to that. Reach out to Facebook, go through their guidelines, figure out why you were banned. Maybe there's some links that were blacklisted on your page. But my advice for anybody, especially moving into social media marketing, one of the things that we really pride ourselves on is, our trainings, if you follow them step by step, they're not going to get you banned from Facebook. The trainings that we teach you, it's very content driven. And my advice is, if you are banned on Facebook, go through our training again. Rewatch it, see where maybe you did something wrong. Look into the guidelines. And my best advice is just to reach out to Facebook. I mean, has anybody on the council here had to deal with a banned account to get it back? If you have your 2 cents, give it away.
I'll give my 2 cents, which is probably about 2 cents, maybe a little more. My account got banned on Facebook too, and which was confusing because my ad had been running for like 2.5 months, and I was getting 25 leads a day, and it was cooking right along, and then all of a sudden I logged in one day and it was banned, and so. I looked at the terms and conditions again, and Facebook changes all the time, and they kind of do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. And I knew that you don't say, make 10, you're going to get rich quick, and they hate MLM and ads and all these other little things that you should know, and not to make your ads say things like that. But the only thing I know is that Facebook doesn't really respond to most people if you're trying to reinstate your account. I've had no success with them. They just keep saying it's a final decision, and they really won't tell you why. They can't be bothered. This is just my experience. And I've gotten advice from other people. There are ways to, you'd have to start a new account, but they can't find out that it's you, because then they'll just shut it down again. And there's interesting ways to do that, but you'd have to have a different credit card, a different name probably on the credit card, but you'd have to go through all of that. So that's up to the individual if you want to go through all of that. So basically what I did was I just started using a different method, and I'm going to master a different method. And if there's another way that I can start on Facebook again, I will, but I'm just going to keep trucking somewhere else for the time being until I figure out how to do that.
Yeah, my advice is, if you have a fan page, right, you can have other admins of your fan page as well. Have your husband or your kid or a friend also be an admin of your page. Even if it won't show up on their Facebook, no notifications go out or any of that. You just put another account on your page, so if you do get banned, you can still access your ads account in your page through that person that's also an admin on your Facebook page, if that makes sense. That's one way to not necessarily get your account back, but it is one way that if you do get your account banned, you can still get access to your ads manager. But just like Laurie said, there's a lot of different ways to generate traffic. Facebook isn't the only answer, but I will tell you that, we're not banned from Facebook. The people, that, have used our training in the past, you're not going to get banned if you do it the right way. And Laurie, you're right. Facebook, that's something that we keep up to date on. Their terms and services change consistently. I mean, they released a whole new update in the beginning of this year with, images and clickbaiting and like baiting and all these things. But, that's why you're in MITS, so we can teach you these things and you can stay up to date and so, these things don't happen to you. So that was a good question. Is there any other questions that I missed, maybe Shelly or Martin, on the Google?
And can I add one more thing, Vinny, really quick? Can you hear me?
You go for it, Laurie.
Yeah, I just want to add to that, that was really good timing for me, because when my ads account got shut down was like a month later was when MITS was introduced to me. So it was perfect timing, and it was kind of like a savior thing, because I had to figure out what else I was going to use. And it also proves the point that only having one method is not a good idea. It's a good idea to focus on one method to start, always, so that you can kind of master that method and not give up if it's not working, because it's not going to work until it works, and then it will work if you're consistent and you play with your ads and all that, and learn the skills. But it's really important to have more than one method of marketing, so that if it was just like when people got shut down with Google AdWords a few years ago, and some people's YouTube accounts get shut down. You never know when they're going to change any rule that, for whatever reason. And
yeah, basically don't put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Right.
Yeah,
because
I totally agree.
that would be terrible.
Yeah, totally. I agree with Laurie's points. I was going to suggest to Chris that if he had a like a really short skirt and a low cut top, maybe that might help him. But perhaps not even then. No, I have had an experience with Twitter, and I think, I mean, my learnings from it was just slow down, like go through the training before you start implementing, and keep up to date with the changes, the ad changes, which they do, and it is kind of hard when they're making them and not always telling you, but that's your responsibility as a marketer to keep abreast of those changes. And yeah, I was going to mention the admin. I've got a little YouTube video if someone wants to know how to do that. And just stay above board. I think if we try and be, like Vince talks about being cute, don't be like that. Just be upfront, give value, and then your ads have no reason to get banned. And if it does happen, I won't say the word, but it does happen in life, and move on. Take the learning and move on.
And there's, some of it's out of your hands too, Shelley. I mean, sometimes, Facebook could blacklist your company's link, and you could have a post from 8 months ago from a network marketing or an affiliate company that you were in that just happened to be on your page, and all of a sudden you lose all access. Now, that's the unfortunate side of the internet, because people take advantage of privileges, and people are going to take advantage, but it's just like anything in life. You just got to deal with it and move on. Facebook isn't the only place in the world to get traffic and leads. There's bunches of them, and it's just something that you got to work with. So, cool. Any other questions, guys? Because I don't see the questions for on the Hangout page. Martin, do you see any there? I don't know if you heard me. Shelley, do you see any questions there?
What is the future and vision of MITS?
There's no question page.
What was the question?
What is the future and vision of MITS? Is Matthew's asking. That's a good question.
That's a good question. Yeah, the vision, the future.
I'll let you take that one away.
Go for it, Eric. What were you going to say? What?
I said you got to come to Internet Traffic Live to find out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, come to Internet Traffic Live to find out. No, we're here to stay, guys. I mean, Vince built this company. Vince built this company purely for the fact that this is what he could have used when he first got started. If you know anything about his story, came into network marketing. He failed miserably in the beginning, couldn't sponsor anyone. Found out about online advertising, failed again. I mean, he tells a story of how he wasted thousands of dollars in less than a few minutes. So what he realized through his experience was, he'd buy someone's coaching and training, he'd do the program, but he realized there were still a couple things that he needed to adjust to really make it work. So he spent his time, doing everything in his power to get a hold of the person that created the product, to get a hold of the leader, and he just connected himself that way, and then using his online strategies, sponsored thousands of people into a company. So this company, MITS, the future is to provide marketers that move into this space a place where they can learn online advertising, learn how to use it properly, and really multiply their business. And at the end of the day, what I think the most powerful part of MITS brings to your business is it gives you as a business person a place to create duplication for your downline. It gives a place for you as a person to learn skills that aren't just applicable to your network marketing company that you're in now. 5 years from now, you might want to start your own brick and mortar store in your local market and start a pizza shop. You might make a pen, and you want to sell pens on the internet now. You might find a niche that people are buying charm bracelets. And you can get those made. The skills that you learn in MITS, when you know how to market online, it doesn't matter what company you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in a network marketing company. You know how to put a product or service in front of people that are looking for it. So the long-term vision of our company is to continue to provide that to the industry, continue to give top-notch coaching, and just really be a place where we're available, a place you can go to get better. So I think that would be my best off the top of my head little rendition of where MITS is going to be going.
That sounded good, Vinny.
Cool. So, any last words from anybody on the council? Our guests, obviously, we thank you guys more than anything for being here, spending some time with us on the weekend. Does anybody in the council have any last closing words? And then obviously we'll let our guests kind of say their farewells as well.
I definitely want to thank Laurie and Aron for being on with us. It's always great having members, jump in and share their stories and become relatable to a lot of other members. One thing I want to ask, I know this week coming up, it's a little different than what it's been, the past few weeks. So this Thursday, I'm assuming we're not having a webinar, correct?
Yeah, I was speaking. Actually, that's funny you say that. Vince and I were finalizing that yesterday. More than likely, no, we will not have practice on Thursday night this week. It'll be the first night of the event. This is really the only weekend out of the entire year that we are going to miss a practice. I mean, usually when we're at events, we'll still have practice from the hotel room. But since this is our event, it's a little different. There's a little bit more responsibility there on our end. So Thursday night, there won't be practice. And the Sunday webinar, there's obviously one tonight, guys. If you're on this call, register for it. It should be in your inbox, a link. Vince will do it. It's a live webinar. He talks about the system. But the following Sunday, I'm not sure if there'll be a webinar either. We might miss that one too because the event goes through Sunday. So next week's scheduled calls for practice and the next week webinar are tentative right now. I'm going to go 90% no with practice. The webinar is kind of still up in the air. But this will be the one out of the week out of the 52 that we don't do the practice webinar. So
just ask that because we're doing the meet and greet right about the same time. So.
Oh, where's the commitment, guys? Maybe
Awesome,
we should just have the computer and then we can all do the Hangout in live.
Yeah, right? We'll do the practice hangout with the Internet Traffic Live attendees. Oh, that'd be something else. Awesome, guys. Well, I think we're good here. Aron, anything last couple words? Laurie, last couple words before we let you guys go? And see you in a week.
I just want to say that it was an absolute honor. Just grateful to be here. Thank you so much to all of you incredible Leadership Council members for the invitation. I'll come back anytime. Vince Reed, sir, I don't know if you can hear me or you're going to watch this, but Vince, you are the man. Thank you for all your hard work, and I can't wait to see all of you in San Diego. I'll see you guys there. Thanks so much.
Awesome, Aron. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I'd just like to say I thank you for having me. It's been great to be here because I love MITS. I love promoting MITS. It helps so many people. It's helped me so much. And I really encourage anybody on the fence about going to Internet Traffic Live next week. Definitely go. It's so easy to get isolated when you have a home-based business because we're at home behind our computers, and you'll meet friends, you'll meet JV partners, you'll meet all kinds of cool people that are thinking like you're thinking, and it's so easy to get bogged down in an environment where you don't always have those people around all the time, and to go to events you get to meet and hang out with all of them, especially all of us. So can't wait to see everybody next week, and thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Laurie. We all appreciate it very, very much. And you guys, I think we're good. This was an awesome council meeting. Martin, you got something to say, buddy?
No, I just want to say I'm pumped up for a few days. We'll be in San Diego, in beautiful sunny San Diego, and we'll definitely meet at the bar. That'll be our meeting point.
Yep, he gave away the biggest secret of the network of the online meetings is everybody meets at the bar, guys. That's the most important part of the event.
How do you know it's going to be sunny, Martin?
I just know. I live in Cali.
Oh man, that's too good. This was like a giant tease, guys. I wish we were all in person right now with a drink in our hand and talking business. It'll happen in a week. And I hope for all of you listening, if you're on this and you're going to be at the event, come up to some of the members. Come up to the people on this council. Tell them that you saw what they were talking about. I mean, that is good. That would make us feel special. That you're here listening, getting value. And when you approach people and tell people that, what I've learned just working with events is going up to people like, man, I watched your podcast. I watched this. I really loved what you did here and what you said, and I took action, and this is the result I got. There's nothing more powerful than being able to say that to someone. And when you say that to someone, there's nothing more powerful to them for them to feel, compelled to give you the same type of value back in a response. It's a great way to connect. So those are my final words, guys. I'm good. I think this was an awesome meeting. Thank you, guys. And I think we're good to go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
all.
you, everybody.
See everyone. See you guys at ITL.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care.